So today, the second week, we are going to continue with Solow model, and today we will discuss the impact of technology, factor of productivity on long-run growth. So last week, we made a conclusion. When if we make an assumption that population does not grow, or population is going to grow while holding technology unchanged, the economy is going to reach one steady state level, right? And then after that one, the economy, the output is going to stay constant per capita, and capital is going to stay constant, and our consumption, which is the most important factor for us, is going to stay unchanged, right? Okay. But now, if you consider, all right, yes, if it's true, then what about the countries, that advanced countries today? For example, those industrialized, highly industrialized nations. Okay. You may say that they reached a steady state level. Okay. Even though they reached that steady state level, they are still growing. All right. They are still growing. So why they are growing? So it is the impact of technology. Okay? So now they are growing because the technology is growing. So today we will be talking about those things, how technology is going to affect on long-run growth. Okay? Good. What technology is itself, we know that our life is now, even if you consider this room, you may find lots of types of technologies, right? In our household, in production line, everywhere, in the education sectors. So technology is very important. Why? Because with given capital and labor, if we have access to technology, we can be more productive because we will be able to produce more, right? And we are able to produce even better products. Or we are able to produce even products which are not we would not be able to produce without those technologies. For example, if you consider medical science, right, today, which is one of the fast-growing fields of studies, okay, brain surgery, eye surgery, and many other types of surgeries, okay. If there is no access for technology, that type of surgery is impossible, or transplantation and others, okay. And just consider education itself. Now we have all types of facilities available where we can get sources in just one computer. We can put the entire world's library inside, yes? So which gives us a lot of opportunities, okay? And regarding variety of foods is another important factor. So last week during one of our seminars, one student raised a question. I think he's not here now. After making those discussions with and without population growth, he was asking that because we were making a conclusion that if a country with more higher population growth, in the long run their consumption is going to be less, right? It's going to be less, which is undesirable for people. And he was saying that then the conclusion is, then it means that war is something good, right? Why? It's war. By having war, the number of people will be reduced, yeah, because of those killings. Then I said it's not the case. Because, once war happens, it will immediately reduce capital itself, right? Capital will be affected, all right? Population growth, okay, is one factor. If you consider that if it grows, those total output is proportional distributed to more people, logically our consumption will be less, it's true. But if you consider, as we discussed in our previous lectures, the way that we are living today, if we compare it with our grandparents, now we are living 10, 15, 20, 30 times better. Times better, not percent. Okay? Mainly why? Because of the technology. For example, just 20, 30 years ago, if you consider chicken consumption, right? To make one chicken ready for consumption, let's say, to grow it enough, it took on average 1 year, right? But now we reduce that time to 1 month. In 1 month, with that advanced technology, some kind of, okay, we are able to make it that big size as if it is 1 year old or even older. Which means that chicken itself, in terms of consumption, by introduction of technology, now we can consume 10, 12 times more. Because time is less. And we are giving less food for those chicken raised, okay? And many others. In variety of products itself, now we are having lots of variety of foods which our ancestors did not have. Okay? Good. So this week, we are considering factor of production, which is technology, which we considered last week as given, constant. But this week we will consider it to growth, okay? Our Solow model that we are going to consider is going to allow growth in population and growth in technology. Okay? Both factors are going to grow. Alright? So, once technology is going to grow, we will witness that once the economy is going to reach a steady state level. Okay? Factor of production line, investment line, depreciation line. We are going to consider that labor augmented function of Solow or the production function. We will see that the economy will reach steady state level, okay, in terms of per effective labor. What per effective labor I will explain you, okay? And you will see that per capita after reaching this point will be growing based on growth on technology. Our life is going to get improved and improved. Output is going to continue growing because technology is growing. Okay? So, if you compare output and capital, capital grows faster than output, okay? If you consider both labor growth, technology growth, okay? In the per capita here, it represents our per effective labor. We will witness that it will reach steady state level, where after that point, per effective labor is going to slow down, it will not grow. Okay? So now, let's consider our Solow model with population growth and growth in technology. Now we will derive the law of motion, Solow equation, okay, and the steady states. And we will make more arguments, okay? So our Douglas production function that we will write in many comments. Total output equal technology, okay, times capital in the power of alpha times labor in the power of 1 minus alpha. Discrete time. Last week we considered it as constant. Now we are considering it is growing. Over time it is changing. Okay? So here I can write our B, that the factor of productivity equal to A in the power of 1 minus alpha. I'm just writing it because I want to make it labor augmented function. Okay? Or in other words, just 4 as if I'm writing this 16 in the power of 1 minus 1 over 2. Can I write it like this? It's the same thing. Okay? It's the same thing. So now I'm writing it like this. And now I am plugging into B this in A terms, which is going to give us Y is equal to technology in the power of 1 minus alpha times capital in the power of alpha times labor in the power of 1 minus alpha. Technology and labor have same power, right? So which we can write our output is equal to capital stock in the power of alpha times technology times labor in the power of 1 minus alpha. Okay, 1 minus alpha. So now this function is called labor augmented. So now, or effective labor. Labor worker with a technology. Educated or worker with a technology. Okay? Labor augmented. Regarding labor augmented, you may think in two ways. Alright? One way is if technology grows or if technology doubles, okay, then with the given labor we are able to produce twice more, right? Or with the given technology, advancement within technology, using less labor, we are able to produce same output. Yes? So now, if we consider this one, for example, those two, in the first case, using technology, we are able to reduce the number of workers and produce the same. In the second case, we can, with the given number of workers, by doubling or increasing that technology, access to technology, we are able to produce more. Okay? Let me give you one example regarding the effect of technology on output. Okay? When I was in Korea, there was one person whom I personally know. Okay? And I had the chance to talk with him. He was from Samarkand. Okay? And he used to be the head of the head of oil company located in Samarkand, which is the second biggest in Uzbekistan. Okay? And after having he was the head of that that cooking oil industry. And he was, as a leader, he made a lot of contribution to the company. And he brought a lot of technology from Germany, okay, and from other countries, those assembly lines, which means by that contribution that oil industry was growing, okay. After years, some problems happened. Then, he was under stress, okay. Then he left his position, okay, and later on, he made the decision to leave the country. Just to go to Korea and work, okay. And he went to Korea, he worked a few years, okay. Later he joined one rice producing small factory where they were packing rice and selling, okay. And there were about more than 10 people working in that small firm company, okay. And he was one of them. After working a month or two, then he realized, because he had very strong, background experience as a, manager or director of that company, he just told to the head of the company, okay, why don't you bring that type of technology, okay, which is going to make work process faster and you will need less workers to hire. That director of that company where one grandmother and grandfather were elderly people, this type of technology is not available in Korea. He himself searched and found that it was available somewhere. And he said, there is this technology available, let's buy it. And they bought it. Okay? They brought the technology, they put in that factory, they started using, efficiency increase. Okay? Later on they said, why don't we buy that type of technology? It will make the work even better. Then they said, this, we also don't know whether it's available. He again found, he brought it and put it in line. Later on, he said, still they were, sewing those bags of rice. Now there is a machine that is going to make it automatically, by itself, packing. And he encouraged them to buy it too. He was doing it, okay? Efficiency was increasing. What happened after a few months, he was himself, one person, was controlling the entire company. He was himself, okay? Without any other help. He was doing it by himself. And he was very, very needed human capital for that company. They were valuing him so much. Therefore, they were asking, just please don't go. Whatever payment you want, we will pay you. Because there isn't anyone who is going to, control this company like you. So anyway, regarding that rice factory, with the technology implementation, okay, one person now is more efficient than more than 10 people. Okay? Or if you consider the case of US farmers, if you consider the number of the farmers share to the total population, it's very small in the US, okay? Very few. But those very few farmers in the United States, they have all types of technology available. All types of tractors, okay? Whatever technology they need. And that makes them very productive. Now, the very few farmers are producing all vegetables and fruits which is sufficient to US, plus they are exporting those farming goods to the entire world. Okay? Which means with the given that few, they are producing so much. Okay. Now, if we consider our per capita, now let's derive what is interesting for us, the per capita of ours. If we divide our total output to labor, both sides, to labor, it will give us per capita, our output in per capita terms, right? Okay? So, output of labor is equal to per capita per output per worker equal capital stock in the power of alpha times technology in the power of 1 minus alpha times labor in the power of 1 times labor in the power of minus alpha over labor in the power of 1, yeah? I can cancel out these two labors. Now capital stock and labor has same power, which I can write our output per worker is equal to capital over labor in the power of or technology in the power of 1 minus alpha times per capita in the power of alpha. Right? Okay? So now, what determines, which is very important for us, is output per worker. It's important for us. What determines the growth rate of output per worker? Okay? So, considering this function, which is our per capita output is equal to technology in the power of 1 minus alpha times per capita capital in the power of alpha. If you take the natural log from both sides, you will get natural log of per capita y is equal to 1 minus alpha times natural log of technology, right? Plus alpha times natural log of capital, per capita capital, in the times of t. If you consider for the next year, t plus 1, okay, we are saying that they are all changing over time, including technology. So which will give you, if you take the natural log from this one, and it will give you natural log of per capita output for next period, 1 plus alpha, ln technology of next period, plus alpha ln per capita capital t plus 1. Right? I can write it like this. If you subtract second equation from the first one, which is going to give you per capita ln of per capita output for t plus 1 minus ln yt equal. Because technologies, right, they have same multiplication, so this is minus. Yeah. It's minus. Okay, it's minus. So 1 minus alpha times ln technology t plus 1 minus ln technology t plus capital T. This is it. So now you know that ln y t plus 1 minus ln y t gives us growth rate of per capita output, right? And it's equal to now 1 minus alpha times growth rate of technology, right? Plus alpha growth rate of capital, per capita capital. Growth rate of per capita capital. Okay. So now you can see when technology grows, okay? When technology grows. And now you can see that growth rate in per capita output is now dependent on growth rate of technology and growth rate of capital. Technology and capital. Okay? So now we know that if technology grows, it will grow per capita output. So now we will prove. Good. So now we are considering that labor is going to grow, right? So the labor for the next year is going to be equal to that growth rate of labor. And we are allowing technology to grow by G, which means that next year technology is going to be equal to this one. All right? These two important factors. Now we are going to derive the law of motion of per capita per effective labor. Okay? So we considered as this one, our output function is yt is equal to capital in the power of alpha times technology times labor in the power of 1 minus alpha, labor management. Okay. So now I'm not going to continually write these t's, just assume it's in discrete time. Okay. In order to derive it, first of all, we should know what per capita. Now we are going to derive it, you know, that output per effective labor, capital per effective labor. When we say per effective labor, we mean our capital per effective labor, let's mark it with this hand sign, is equal to capital stock over effective labor. Okay? Capital divided by effective labor. Or capital per effective labor. Or output per effective labor is equal to output over effective labor. Consumption is equal to consumption over effective labor. Alright? Effective labor. So now we are going to convert it into effective labor. So where I divide both sides by effective labor. Okay? A L divided by effective labor. If we divide it then this side on the left side, it will give us output per effective labor is equal to. So we will cancel out this one with the denominator. What we have left is now effective labor in the power of 1 minus alpha, which is going to give us capital over effective labor in the power of alpha, right? Or our output per effective labor is equal to capital per effective labor in the power of alpha. All right, in the power of alpha. Okay. So last week, in order to derive the law of motion, we considered what our capital for the next period is equal to, right? Which you already know, which depends on capital stock itself, which depreciates, right? And changes are determined by investment that we make, right? TTT. So now we are going to make it per effective labor. We divide both sides of this equation by effective labor, okay? Technology for T plus 1, labor T plus 1. So this side I also have to divide it for technology T plus 1, labor T plus 1. Can I divide it to this one? I can't, right? Because it's for year T, but this one is for the next year. But we already know what our technology for T plus 1 is equal to, right? It's equal to, we know that it grows by G, it's equal to AT. Right? Technology of this year is going to, for the next year, is equal to this one. Because technology is growing by this much. And we know labor for next year is equal to 1 plus growth rate in population times labor T. Can I plug, instead of A T plus 1, this in here? I can do it, right? If I plug it in here, I will get, this is already the per effective labor, okay? Capital per effective labor is equal to let me write it. Investment, okay? Investment plus 1 minus depreciation capital stock, I'm rewriting it, okay? Over 1 plus growth rate in technology, 1 plus growth rate in population, technology for year T times labor for year T. I'm replacing these values with this one. Okay? So now it gives us opportunity to derive per effective output and per effective capital. Okay? Capital per effective labor. So now we'll find our capital per effective labor is equal to, okay, for T plus 1, sorry. T plus 1 is equal to 1 over 1 plus G times 1 plus M, saving rate times output per effective labor plus 1 minus delta capital per effective labor. Right? So now this is transition equation. Transition equation. From this given equation, if we subtract per effective labor for time T, it will then represent change. That's Solow's equation. Okay? So now if you do it, then you will get capital per effective labor for time T plus 1 minus capital per effective labor for time T is equal to 1 over 1 plus technology, growth in technology, 1 plus growth rate in population. And if you do all those simplifications, you will get it's equal to saving rate times output per effective labor minus technology plus growth rate of population plus depreciation plus NG times capital per effective labor. You will get this. Okay? If you consider this one and if you subtract from both sides, you will get this. So this is the Solow's equation. When we are going to derive it in continuous time, okay, during the seminar, you will see that this factor is going to be missing. Alright? So that this is that Solow's equation, okay, the law of motion. So now we have to derive that steady state level, okay? We are arguing that the economy with effective labor is going to reach the steady state level, okay? And this steady state level, which is going to represent the capital per effective labor, in steady state level, where investment is going to be equal to depreciation. Alright? And we will reach this output, which is output per effective labor. And this is going to be consumption per effective labor. Okay? So now we are going to derive it. We know that we are interested to find these star values, right? In steady state level. In steady state level, depreciation is equal to investment. And after this point, capital per effective labor is not going to change. Right? If it's not going to change, it means this change is equal to 0. Now you can write. So in steady state level, this change is going to be equal to 0. Right? It's 0. Saving rate times Y per effective labor minus G plus N plus delta plus NG times capital per effective labor. If it's going to be 0, if our per effective labor is steady state level, right? Okay, good. And we know what our output per effective labor is equal to. It is equal to, where was it? Our capital per effective labor is equal to capital per effective labor in the power of alpha. Now we will place it instead of this 1, 0 equal saving rate times capital per effective labor in the power of alpha minus G plus growth rate in population plus depreciation plus N times G times capital per effective labor star. And it will be 0 if this one is also star. Yeah? So now, once we got this equation, we know saving rate, growth rate in technology, growth rate in population, depreciation, these are all given, exogenous. We can now find, if you do all the process of simplification, that capital per effective labor in the steady state level is equal to saving rate over growth rate in population plus growth rate in the technology plus depreciation plus N times G in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha. Okay? This is steady state level of the capital per effective labor. Capital per effective labor. So our output is going to reach steady state level per effective labor. If our capital in steady state level, right? If our capital per effective labor in steady state level. You can easily find it, right? Because we already know our capital per effective labor is equal to capital per effective labor in the power of alpha. It will reach the steady state level if capital per effective labor in steady state level, which we already derived in here, right? So if you just plug it in here, you will get that output per effective labor in steady state level is equal to saving rate over G plus N plus delta plus N times G in the power of alpha over 1 minus alpha. Because it has alpha power, right? We will have extra alpha. Yeah. So you will get this one. So once we have it, finding, consumption per effective labor is no problem, right? Why? Consumption is equal to 1 minus saving rate times output. If you divide both sides by effective labor, you will get consumption per effective labor is equal to 1 minus saving rate times output per effective labor. It is going to reach steady state level if Y in steady state level, right? Which we already found in here, so which will give us our capital per effective labor in steady state level is equal to 1 minus saving rate times saving rate over G plus N plus delta plus NG in the power of alpha over 1 minus alpha. This is in steady state level. Okay? So the economy is going to reach steady state level, and you can see that after this point, output will not be growing, output per effective labor. Consumption per effective labor is not going to grow because everything is exogenous in here given. Okay? Is it really interesting for us? Economy does not consist of only effective labor, right? So what is really interesting for general population is per capita itself. Output per worker. Alright? Per worker. So if capital per worker with growth in technology is going to reach steady state and not grow, what about capital per worker itself, not per effective worker? Which is really interesting for us. Can you repeat that one more? So now we are saying that capital per effective labor, once it reaches steady state level, it's not going to change. Okay? Output per effective labor is not going to change too. It will be same. What we are interested now is, let's suppose that our capital per effective labor, okay, you know that it is equal to capital stock over effective labor, right? Can I write it like this? This one. 1 over technology times capital per effective, capital per worker. Yes? This is effective, this is capital per worker. Or you can write it that our capital per worker is equal to capital per effective labor times technology, right? Right? Okay. So, if it's the case, you know that capital per worker is going to reach the steady state level if capital per effective labor reaches that level in this function, okay? Which we already derived what capital per effective labor in steady state level is equal to. Now, if you plug it in here, you will get capital per worker in steady state level is equal to technology, okay, times saving rate over G plus N plus delta plus NG in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha. Okay? 1 minus alpha. So now you can see this is constant, right? But technology is growing. Economy reached steady state level, but because of growth in technology, it's continuous growing. So if you consider the United States, for example, it reached steady state level because technology is growing, the economy is further growing. Per capita is further growing, now it's increasing over time. Okay? And you can derive output as well as this function. So output per effective labor is equal to output over effective labor. You can write it as 1 over technology times output per worker. Output per worker is equal to output per effective labor times technology, right? We already know what technology is. Our output per worker is equal to technology times saving rate over G G plus N plus delta plus NG in the power of alpha over 1 minus alpha. Again, technology is growing. If you derive consumption, you will get the same story. We show that it's going to grow. How do we know that it's growing? We know that in our first seminar, we derived our, let's label, let's technology for T plus 1 is equal to 1 plus G A T, right? Or we can write that technology in any year, if it's constantly growing by G on average, 1 plus G in the power of T times initial level of technology, right? So now if you plot this one instead of this one, you will see the economy is continuously growing in terms of per capita. In terms of per capita, okay? In terms of per capita. Per worker. Per worker, okay? In terms of per worker, now the economy is going to grow. All right? So now, this is that we have derived. So everything is given in here that you can quickly review. All things in here, okay? Regarding consumption, you will get it equal to this one, which I haven't wrote there. So it's still technology is growing, okay? So now the importance of technology is very huge, okay? Even though economy reaches steady state level, it will be still growing because of technology, okay? Now, if you make a conclusion, with growth in population and growth in technology, when the economy reaches steady state level, capital per effective worker and output per effective labor, the growth rate is 0. Okay? But capital per worker and capital output per worker is going to grow by growth rate in technology, which we already derived over there. Okay? What about capital and output itself, aggregate output and technology, and output and capital? It will grow by growth in technology and growth in labor, right? Output equal to technology times capital in the power of alpha times labor in the power of 1 minus alpha. So if it's going to grow, it will grow. If labor is going to grow, it will again grow. So output, in terms of growth in technology and population, these both factors tells us the capital is going to grow by growth rate in population and as a growth rate in labor and technology. What about the effect of saving? What's the effect of saving? So let's consider the economy, the saving rate is only 10%, okay? 10%. And if the saving rate is 10%, let's consider two countries, country A and country B. These countries, saving rate is 20%. Starting with the same capital, everything is same. Growth in population, growth in technology. In the long run, you will see that countries with less saving rate, they will reach steady state level of this capital per effective labor, while country with 20% is going to reach this level, right? Capital per effective labor. And now, after reaching the steady state level, what is important is capital per worker, right? Capital per worker is going to grow by growth rate of technology with less capital. You see? But countries with more saving rate, they will be still growing, but with that growth rate in technology which is the same, but with high capital. Alright? High capital. Which which means that life in this country is much ahead of this country in the long run. So therefore, the importance of saving rate is also important. Okay. Good technology is good thing. Now we made a conclusion, okay, which means that we have to really think about this one. But what determines technology? When we are saying technology, what do we mean? We know what technology is, right? So the changes in technology, it usually comes from what? Research and development, okay, R&D. Change in research development really brings those changes in technology, okay? Now we have some statistics given. For industrialized rich nations, on average, the share of their R&D expenditure on the total output is usually 2 to 3%. 2 to 3%. If you consider the US total output, which is equal to over $14 trillion, right? If you get just 2% of it, it is close to $300 billion. In the United States, maybe even more, okay? They are spending annually more than $300 billion just for that R&D purpose, in order to grow further, okay? You can compare this $300 billion to most of those developing countries' total GDP, okay? It's much higher than that one. They are spending that much, all right? And further, it turns out to be, in the United States, they have, roughly about 1 million scientists, okay, who are engaged in research and development. And most interesting thing is, more than 75% of those scientists are hired by private companies. It's really the invisible hand of Adam Smith, okay? All companies, all people are selfish, okay? In order to maximize their profit, they're trying to create more. So now, those are the private companies, they are hiring those scientists to be more competitive in the world market, to develop more technology, which is good. Okay? Good? Regarding technology, countries, okay, if you consider countries itself, you may find countries growing, okay? Country A and country B. Growing based on growth in technology, okay? If you consider country A, for example, the economy is growing because of the effect of technology, but that technology was purchased. Okay? That mainly in our country too, now economy is growing because of the technological effect, which is not made in Uzbekistan. Alright? We are buying, so American or European or Japanese, Korean technology or Chinese, implementing it, now output is growing. Okay? It's one way. Let's suppose if Uzbekistan, that our country is growing by purchasing those technologies, we bought that one, and let's suppose we bought Japanese technology, and among those 5 Central Asian countries now, Uzbekistan, let's suppose, leading in terms of production of those goods, right? Which means that there is a high likelihood of our neighboring countries purchasing the same type of technology, right? In order to become productive. Uzbeks are doing now very good, which means that we can do very good too if we purchase that technology. Okay? So now, if our neighboring Tajikistan is going to purchase that technology, which is available in our country, what are we worried about? We are worried about our market share, yes? And as the competitor is coming to the market, which means that they are going to take some portion of market share. This is what we really worry about. This is it. In terms of purchasing technology, okay? But there are some other countries which do not purchase those technologies, but they make those technologies. Okay? For them, it is really matters. In order to produce one technology in the economy, okay, they spend millions or billions of dollars. Okay? They spend, let's say, to produce one type of very important technology which is going to increase productivity. Because of R&D expenditure, they spend, let's say, $10 million. Okay? $10 million is spent just to invent it. But if you just take that technology, which is, let's say, invented in Uzbekistan, bring it to world market, maximum offer you can get is going to be $100,000 for that technology. Okay? Maximum. So therefore, if this type of technologies are spent, there is such a thing like patent laws. Alright? Which means that those costs which were made for production of this one should be covered. Which will I give you some details to. Okay? So now, for those companies who invented those technologies, it really matters. For example, what did Steve Jobs do? He is the founder of first touchscreen phone, right? He went to the public, he got his smartphone, right, that one. He showed that now this is the function you see. Yeah, you can control with your hand. And people, after seeing that type of function, they were all, open wide their mouths, right? And looking, is it really possible? Steve Jobs, to produce that smartphone, iPhone 1, okay? For him, he was working on that project for many years. I don't know how long it take, okay? Hundreds, maybe thousands of his workers, they were working on this project to find it. It was their strategy. Now we have to find that function that is, controlled with our hands. For that one, they were spending billions of dollars or millions of dollars, okay? Just after invention, what happened after 1 year? Samsung started producing its, smartphones, right? Galaxy phones. HTC, they started producing their Galaxy phones. On the other hand, Japanese Panasonic and Sony, they producing Stark, okay? Which all of them, they were just imitating. For them, imitating was very easy because all the ingredients are already available, right? Already available. Okay. So therefore, it's the reason why iPhone always, apply to court. Samsung is, stealing our, property rights, blah, 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 with these things all. Okay, good. There is such a thing like research fertility and its applicability. Now you are all writing this dissertation, right? And you all have some research idea, right? You come to your supervisor saying, I'm going to write a research on this topic. The supervisor thinks that, is there any research done? Yes, there is. What about your research contribution? I'm going to make this addition. Oh, then it looks okay, right? Which means that this is your research idea. You want to make some new addition to the research. This type of research is a lot. But whereas the application in real life, it really matters, okay? I maybe a few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, I read a news from CNN where the ad was, people with beard. Okay? People, they grow beard in some nations, including Uzbekistan too, because of religious beliefs, right? Because in religion, having beard is something good thing, for example, and then people grow. So now you know this case, okay? But in that research, they did research why people grow, okay? And how ladies find those gentlemen with beards. And the conclusion was of that research, and it really showed that ladies, they find people with beard more attractive. It was the finding, very significant output, okay? I was thinking, maybe those guys, now I see in the outside, whether that person is Muslim or Christian, whatever religion, without religion, they're going good. You see? Even in Uzbekistan, in Tashkent, I saw the guys read that, I see no article. Okay? So, if you go to nightclub, again, you see those beards, whatever. Okay? So it was like this, which I really, as an economist, I find that type of research, for example, something strange, not applicable, because I'm not interested of that type of topic. Maybe it sounds interesting for some, maybe some of you develop this idea. Okay? All right. Regarding applicability, here is the one research done regarding hybrid corns in the United States. You know, if you go that you would like to have corn in Uzbekistan, now we have that type of long, very nice looking corns, yes? They are selling it. You cannot find any missing corn. Full. Very nice looking. And that one is hybrid corn. Okay, the vegetable of hybrid corn. And that hybrid corn was invented in the United States, okay? And you can see the first state which was started growing, it was Iowa. Okay? And hybrid corn does not grow everywhere. It chooses where to grow. First corn that they found was suitable for growing in this state. After a few years, they found that it is suitable to grow in Wisconsin, then in Kentucky and other states. Okay? So which means that after that one, one hybrid corn produces much more crop compared to that original basic or the traditional corn. Which means that now we are able to consume more corn. In Uzbekistan now we are growing too. That research reached our country 5-6 years ago. Do you understand? In the United States, they started in 1930s, growing that. Okay, good? All right. If we consider again about patent laws, all right, all countries, those, they are trying to make exceptions like Coca-Cola, right? Why it's exception? Because Coca-Cola, they have their own secret ingredient, yes, which they do not share with any other companies, right, with competitors. For example, you may hear time to time, country, for example, Turkey, they are saying that if you are not going to reveal the ingredients of Coca-Cola, we are going to consume less or we'll stop consuming Coca-Cola. Because we don't know what it contains, maybe it may harm our health, right? For Americans, there is a very strong argument, right? Who is consuming the most? It's Americans. If it was harmful, then why we are giving it to our own nation, right? So which means that they are just saying that argument. I think we have seen that animation movie Kung Fu Panda. Yes, the first season, right? Panda has a father of goose, yes, who is running the noodle house, who knows secret ingredient, right? Whoever comes to his, that noodle house, he really enjoys thinking that he is having some kind of, recipe which no one knows. At the end of that animation movie, when that Paul was very upset, leaving the village, right? His goose father will approach him. Please don't be upset. Now, to make me happy, I will tell you. The secret ingredient of my secret ingredient soup. Yes? And would say, it is nothing. Right? Maybe in terms of Coca-Cola, maybe there is no nothing. Who knows? Now, in many countries, they produce Coca-Cola type of drink. Maybe it's exactly the same taste, but people think it has something different. It's not that Coca-Cola. Okay, they were able to impact on our mind. Okay, regarding protection, the patent laws, let me give you one example, then you will understand the importance. For For example, pharmaceutical business, okay? Pharmaceutical business. It is considered as one of the most riskiest investment projects. Pharmaceuticals, okay? For example, you will find if you go to some drugstores, special ones, okay? You will find one drug cost a few thousands of dollars, right? A few thousands of dollars. But you may consider in terms of cost of production, it doesn't cost even 1 cent. But the price of that one, it costs thousands of dollars. Okay? Why is it so expensive? It's because of R&D made. Alright? On average, research shows to make one drug suitable for consumption, to make it successful in the market, on average it takes 15 years. Which means that big institutions, research institutions with hundreds of thousands of employees, they are going to work on this project for 15 years. Of course, there are many projects, okay? And on average, to make it successful in terms of financial contribution, they spend about $5 billion. Okay? To make one drug successful, it usually takes so long and so much. So therefore, if one company produces one drug, which is very useful for some type of disease, they are given, if I'm not mistaken, 11 or 12 years of patent. For this period, no one is allowed to produce. Okay? So therefore, within these 11 years, those producers are going to charge very high prices in order to recover all of those costs, including with their profits. Okay? So, this is the case. What about, let's suppose, cancer? There is no medication still found for cancer, right? And researchers, to find cure for cancer, they have been working on that project for close to 100 years. They were not able to find. Research institutes, they do research, they fail, they again do, they fail, they are failing now. Maybe after a few years, they will find cure for cancer, okay? Which means that it took 100 years, a few trillions of dollars. After that one, you will find those drugs for that one will cost very high price. You cannot say, oh, it's too expensive, how about human rights, whatever. Okay? If you say like this, they would say, if you don't want to consume, then die. Okay, this is the price, because we did that research. So, another argument is too little protection and too much protection. This is also very important. Okay? If protection is too little, okay, too little, it is going to kill research output. Why? They spent 15 years, $5 billion. They produced one medication for AIDS, okay? And they made it available. And there is no protection, which means that Indians will buy it, those pharmacists, they will just see that what does it contain. The next day they will start producing without zero R&D expenditure. Okay? Uzbeks also will do the same. Which means that they are not able to recover those costs. Which means that this very good research institute is going to stop its operation. If it's the case, if there is no patent law, why should we then produce it? It will kill that technology. Okay? What about that too much protection? It's another problem. Okay? Let's suppose if this company, they produce this medication for the AIDS disease, and they are giving for this company 50 years of patent, 50, very strict. And you may consider this drug, it usually to make people healthy again takes 1 year. You have to take those pills for 1 year, then it's okay. But there is a possibility that if some other researchers do research over this research, they might find a way even better drugs, which will take only 1 week for recovering from that disease. So therefore, too much protection is also another problem. Okay? Good? So, because of that reason, in advanced economies, rich countries, where usually they produce those technologies and do R&D expenditures, patent laws are very strong. They try to make it very strong. But in weak, poor countries, patent laws are very weak. And they, intentionally, they make it weak. Why? If they are going to make it very strict, they are not able to imitate those technologies. Alright? They produce a car, which you already all design or everything is somewhere else, with something different. Or they produce phones, okay, with some function different. So this is, in poor developing countries, protection laws are low, okay? And economy, because it's important for economy to grow faster, it is that low. Another thing, what about management itself? Technology is important, okay? But the staff management is also very important. Now we have degrees like MBA, right? MBA, where they teach how to manage properly, right? Because it really increases and that it maximizes the profit of a company by proper management. Good. And another thing regarding institutions, another important one, okay? Let's suppose you may consider one country which is 100% equipped with the high level of technology. Everything is available. But there are weak institutions. You will find that in a very short run, that economy is the growth is going to slow down. Let me give you one example. Let's suppose, I think you heard those success stories, right? One person, 1 billion, which is really true, started his business with $100, but now he's a billionaire, right? Let's suppose I'm that type of entrepreneur. I come from a very poor family, where my father cannot give me that initial capital to start a business. I'm going to a bank, and I'm begging them just give me $1,000, and they, let's suppose, agreed me to give that $1,000. I got that one because I have very good, entrepreneurship skills. I invested into some business, okay, and my business started growing. In that level, no one sees my business because it's too small. But over time, in 5 years, I was able to make, to turn that $1,000 investment business into $1 million business. Okay? Now let's suppose I am producing certain type of technology, where for my technology there is very high demand in Uzbekistan. And now, other foreign countries are also interested for my technology. Okay? For technology. Which means the potential of growth is very high. So let's suppose I am in a very weak country where institutions are very weakly established. Okay? I will be approached by one influential person. Okay? He will just come to me and he will make an offer. Or, Mr. Buzurukov, I see that you're a very good entrepreneur, that you made that business so successful. I think that it costs for you, now the total cost, I think it's about $800,000. I'm offering you $1 million. Would you sell to me?
Business idea.
Okay? I know that there is growth. In a few 5 years, it will be $1 billion business. I would say, no. I'm sorry, but I would like to run this business myself. They would say, aren't you going to change your mind? I would say, no, then he will leave. Okay? Next day he will come again. He will offer, Mr. Buzurukov, now I changed my mind. Now I would like to offer a different price. And I would say, you know, if you offer me $10 million, I am not going to sell it for you. Then he would say, no, I'm not going to offer you $10 million. I will offer you $500,000. And he would say, if you don't agree, you will spend the rest of your life behind the bars. Okay? Behind the bars. Now I have all hands tied. I agree, because if I don't do it, because let's say the judiciary system is very weak, then I agree to sell it. In developing countries, why technology is not growing, it's one reason. Once those very successful entrepreneurs start investing and developing, those corrupt people, they are going to chain their legs and hands, and they leave the country. Do you understand? So now you know that with the leadership of our new president, so this is one very important thing, to return those people who left back, those very strong people. Because we already know so many people left because of reason this to reason two after the collapse of Soviet Union. Okay? So now we are holding back them to contribute to our economy. And this is empirical evidence. You can see that per capita, okay, is going to be higher in countries where protection is better. Okay? Now here is a very nice example. I think you know this peninsula is South Korean peninsula, right? Which includes that North Korea and South Korea. This peninsula was invaded by Japan, yes. Then after the World War II, Americans, Russians, they, let those Japanese leave the country, right? North side of Korea was supported by Russians and Chinese. South side was supported by Americans, right? After that, civil war, then they became two countries. The economy started, slightly growing, okay? Because in south part of Korea, there was very strong property rights, okay? While in north, it was very weak, like practicing that type of things. Now you can see how life changed in these two countries. Now people in South Korea are living a few dozen times better than North Koreans, okay? It's one reason because of institutions. Okay? Good? And in our previous lecture, we said, what about that growth? Capital per effective labor, or capital per effective labor, it also, okay, when technology grows in the economy, it also supports conditional convergence. So now you can see it. Now here it's growth in population, and now we included this ratio, which includes technology as well, okay? It includes India. Countries with low per capita, they are growing faster compared to countries with high per capita. But there is convergence possibility. Why? Those industrialized countries, right, they are developing based on R&D research, but for research, those, door for that research, the gap is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Growth in technology is also getting smaller in the long run, okay? Now they are, in 20th century they were able to invent so many things, but in the 21st, it will be less. Because invention, it has no also limit, okay? So now it's getting smaller, but developing countries, by imitating those technologies, learning, they are growing faster. And they will reach one level, and they will converge. Conditional convergence. Okay? Good? So I'm not going to write it on the board. Okay? This is growth accounting. For example, if you consider Douglas production function for year T, and for another Douglas production function for big T, it's like, that T represents our, let's say, in year 1990 for big T to the 2020. Okay? So in order to derive the long run average growth rate, you take first a natural log from this equation, and you take natural log from this equation, and subtract the second from the first, and divide by years. So T, 2020 minus 1990, which is 30 years past, you divide by 2. Y in year 2020 minus Y in year 1990 divided by this one, it will give you average growth rate. Yes? And now you can witness that average growth rate of total output depends on growth rate in technology, growth rate in capital, and growth rate in labor. Okay? If you consider in per capita terms, if you do the same, take the natural log of both sides and subtract the second equation from the first, you will get this equation, which tells you average growth rate of output per worker depends on growth rate in technology and capital. This way it is calculated. Now, this is the data. So now it is derived by using those calculations, okay? For the US, now you can see that growth rate between 60 and 65 was 2.9 in technology, okay? Then it became less, and it became even negative in 70s and 75. Some economists, they explain it because they experienced oil crisis, yes? Oil shock, all right? So on average, you can see that initially it was very high, but it is slowing down. In UK as well, it was very high, it slowed down. If you consider Ireland, Belgium, Ireland is some different story. If it's different, okay. In Belgium, they also experienced high growth in technology, then decline. In Sweden and Denmark too, which tells us that all countries, on average, growth in technology is getting smaller, slower, okay, slower. Countries, during the Cold War era, okay, there were a group of Eastern Europe countries like Poland, okay, Estonia, those countries, okay, which were socialistic nations. Socialistic nations. Inward-looking trade policy, okay, they had. It was not West type of economy, and it was this data gives, they consider the average level of output as 100, okay. After the collapse of Soviet Union, that things changed in the world, right? Socialist economies, they moved to free market economies, right? Those closed economies, planned economies, moved to free market economy. And you can see these countries that which are given in here, Czech Republic is also here, Estonia, Russia included, they all experience sharp decline. Why they experience this sharp decline? And you can see, compare capital of 1989 to 1990, it was this much reduction in capital. Capital was reduced. What was the reason? Once those economies opened their doors for free market, okay, those companies which were manufacturing or producing certain type of goods, they were not able to compete with Western economies. Okay. Immediately capital was going down. Another thing, after this point, those countries, they reduced subsidies. For example, Zhiguli, Moskvich, those countries, those cars during Soviet Union. They were highly protected. Foreign car was not allowed to bring, right? Whether we like it or not, we had to buy it. All costs, negative costs were covered by government. Once it was, competition, that type of businesses were one by one going out of market. Okay? It happened like this. And plus those old machines, which caused this decline. But what happened after? After after that removal, you know, countries became more open. Western countries, those industrialized countries, they were more interested to invest in these countries, okay? They were making investment, capital started growing, one. They were bringing technology. These countries now, they had access to bring new technologies. And now you can see from this point, their growth rate really changed to be a very positive side, okay? Technology gave them to practice efficiency. Okay? It is the case. Good. Now, regarding golden rule of consumption, which is the most important one, okay? Last week we said, the economy there is only one point in the long run, which is going to give one level of consumption, which is going to be the greatest. If that investment with saving rate is somehow low, it will reach this point where consumption is going to be less. If investment is more than necessary, it will reach this point, then again we will be consuming less. So there is one point of saving which is going to give us maximum consumption. Okay? So now we are going to prove. So if you are feeling sleepy, you can ask your friends to give you a few slaps, then you will refresh yourself. It won't take long, it is a very simple one, I will just explain, but this simple one you should understand. Okay. So now you will consider a very simple function, okay? The most complex function we will consider during this end. Okay? I know you are tired. So let's suppose our calculus production function is given as, capital in the power of alpha, labor in the power of 1 minus alpha. Let's say technology is equal to 1. Okay, 1. Technology is equal to 1. So if we make it per capita, our per capita y is equal to per capita capital in the power of alpha, right? You know how to derive it, and you know that output is equal to consumption plus investment. If you divide both sides by labor, you will get per capita output per worker is equal to consumption per worker plus investment per worker, right? So now we will end in here. Our consumption per worker is equal to output per worker minus investment per worker. Investment per worker. And now what we are interested to find this golden level of consumption. Consumption will reach that golden level, okay, when saving is equal to this one and it is in steady state level. In steady state level. In steady state level. In steady state level. You know that investment is going to be equal to depreciation, right? It's equal to depreciation, right? It's equal to depreciation. Or investment itself, you can write it as saving rate times capital in the power of alpha, yes? Equal to depreciation of per capita capital. Okay? So once you know it, alright? Now I would like to find capital per effective labor in steady state level and its golden level. It should be gold. Okay? Which is only we are going to reach it if our y reach its golden level. Okay? And investment reached its golden level. Now, instead of writing this investment where, if it's golden level, steady state level, it's equal to depreciation, right? So I will write the depreciation times capital in golden level. These are all golden level, gold, it has G. Okay? Good. If it's the case, if you look at your notes that we derived last week, let's suppose here population is not growing. There is no population growth, okay? You got that your steady state level of per capita capital is equal to saving rate times technology over depreciation in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha, right? We are saying in this case that technology is equal to 1. Just ignore it. It's 1 now. We don't need it, okay? So now you plug it in here. So we know that our per capita Y is equal to, so per capita consumption in golden level is equal to per capita capital, it should be gold as well, okay, in steady state level in the power of alpha minus delta times per capita capital gold, okay? Per capita capital gold. Now we know what steady state level is equal to, right? You just plug what in here, then you will get golden level of per capita capital is equal to saving rate over delta, delta in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha in the power of alpha. Yes? This one. Or I can just simply write it alpha over 1 minus alpha. Right? Minus delta saving rate over delta times 1 over 1 minus alpha. This. Now we have this, right? Okay. Or I can write it as saving rate in the power of alpha over 1 minus alpha times delta in the power of minus alpha over 1 minus alpha, right? Minus, I can write delta in the power of 1 times saving rate in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha times saving delta in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha with minus. Yes? I can write it like this. This one. So now, if you further, because if you get these powers, if you do all those, necessary, if you get those steps, it will be equal to delta. Let me write it down once again. Our consumption in golden level per capita is equal to saving rate alpha over 1 minus alpha times delta minus alpha over 1 minus alpha minus saving rate in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha times delta in the power of minus alpha over 1 minus alpha. You will get this. So once we have it, when our consumption is going to reach this golden level, it depends on this saving rate, yes? It really depends on the saving rate. So now we have to take first difference to maximize this function, okay? First difference of this equation with respect to saving. If you take first difference with respect to saving, okay? First difference with respect to saving. Then you will get first difference of this one is equal to 0. Yeah? So alpha over 1 minus alpha times saving rate alpha 1 minus alpha minus 1 times delta in the power minus alpha over 1 minus alpha minus 1 over 1 minus alpha times saving rate in the power of 1 over 1 minus alpha minus 1 times delta in the power of minus alpha over 1 minus alpha, right? So here, I can just cancel these two, yes? And I can cancel out these two denominators, right? And what we have left in here, 0 equal alpha times minus, 2 alpha minus 1 over 1 minus alpha, right? This one, it's the power of say times 0 alpha times this minus saving rate minus alpha, alpha, just alpha, not minus, alpha over 1 minus alpha. Is it right? Yes? Okay. So if you do all the further simplification, you will get, if you get it from this side, saving rate in the power of alpha over 1 minus alpha equal to alpha times saving rate 2 alpha minus 1 over 1 minus alpha, right? If you divide both sides by this one, you will get saving rate in the power of alpha over 1 minus alpha minus 2 alpha minus 1 over 1 minus alpha. Yes? Equal to alpha. I'm dividing it to this one. And which will give you saving rate in the power of 1 minus alpha over 1 minus alpha equal to alpha. Or it's equal to 1, which will give you saving rate is equal to alpha. Which means the economy is going to reach the steady state level with golden consumption if saving rate is equal to alpha. If this alpha is 1 over 2, then saving rate should be equal to 50%. Do you understand? So during the seminar we will be doing with all the factors included, okay? So this is all derived in the lecture material. You can quickly follow, okay, it's all done for you. So everything that we discussed is from 3 different books, okay? Yeah, thank you very much.